Hello, thank you, Hoflax. Hope everyone's doing really well today. We have an exciting race between SWC19 and Svanis, both of which are very good runners of a hat in time. Both have sub 40 PBs, which in hat in time parlance is quite good. For just to get the reference point completely accurate, SWC's PB is 38 minutes, 16 seconds, and Svanis' PB is 39 minutes, 39 seconds. So these are two pretty evenly matched runners. So we should see a really close race. Again, I am Corvame. I am also a runner of this game, though I don't have as good of a PB. And I'll be trying to explain everything that occurs in this game as fast as I possibly can. Do either of you two want to say anything before we start?
Let me open Live Split, that is all. Apart from that, not really. I'm ready in 5 seconds. I just didn't realize.
I'm more about any sort of like pre-race speech or anything, but yeah, I guess you could talk about logistics as well.
I don't have anything.
Cool. We have an incentive. We did an incentive for which skins or which dyes they're going to use. So if we could get the results of that.
Yes. So at the moment, I guess now that we're starting up, we have Virtual Kid winning at $25 and Shadow Puppet at $11. Those will be our top two.
So yeah, one of you do Shadow Puppet, one of you do.
Yeah, I already
Virtual
have mine set
Kid.
up.
No, I'm doing Shadow Puppet.
Oh my god. I lost the other stream. I hate Discord. Hold on.
Great software.
There we go. So we all ready to go?
I'm good.
Oh wait, I think something that's not supposed to be in my stream is on my stream window. Yes, it is.
You both have no saving turned off.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
I cannot believe I remembered to ask about that.
I remember to check it.
I thought for sure I would forget. Okay,
yeah,
good.
it's off.
There's a setting that they added to make sure so that you don't update save files for the purposes of setting up speedrun practice files. But this game sometimes crashes and it just kills races. So you gotta make sure you turn it off before you do a race. All right. I will count us down if we're all ready, including our timers behind the scenes.
Yep.
I shall mute, so good luck.
Timers behind the scenes. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go. So right off the bat,
I regret to inform you that I have crashed.
all right, we've already had a crash. So good thing we turned off no saving. So that's
That was really important.
Start.
All of my data has been saved. Very good.
This game's really good. This game is good, but it also crashes a lot.
I'm crying.
Hang on, I'm gonna need to mess up my audio stuff again. Oh boy.
I reset the
You
timer
had
so we
time.
can try again.
It never goes wrong. Amazing video game.
We do free advertising for Gears for Breakfast. They don't even thank us. So yeah, I'm glad I explained that no saving thing because that normally it happens later, not the moment you start the game.
One second.
All right.
While we have this break in the action, I can remind everyone that we have a brand new poll incentive open when you go to the donate page for the Spyro 3 Reignited run. You can choose Spyro's color, whether you donate for black, pink, or yellow. And we'd like to remind everyone that Velocity Online 2021 is benefiting Rise Above the Disorder, which is a nonprofit dedicated to battling the two greatest barriers to mental health care, which are accessibility and affordability. To accomplish their mission, they're providing a universal mental health care system to people around the world. Too many people can't afford mental health care, and Rise Above the Disorder is working to change that. So make sure you get those donations in for your favorite Spyro color and just for a great cause.
I get those
All right.
donations in, everyone.
I'm ready whenever. Assuming my stream
need-
looks good.
I
Oh,
require
yeah,
your
stream,
Discord.
Discord has been acquired.
Hold on. Come on, let me add it.
Do I do I need to mute my mic while we're running, or how is this? Because
You don't have to if you don't want to.
no, I can, but then I won't be able to say anything because I don't have a bind for it.
No, you
It's up to you.
You can
I'm gonna
keep it.
mute.
So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to?
you don't have to mute it, Savanas.
I don't care. It's whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. So
Are we ready to go for real this
Yeah.
time?
Sure,
First
I'm ready
time, let's
anytime or
go.
whenever.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Okay, so right off the bat, there's a couple different forms of movement that we use pretty heavily in this game. The one that we use the most, because it gives us the most horizontal momentum in almost all cases, is the dive boost, which is done by diving. And then right before you have a 0.1 second window after hitting the ground to dive again. And that'll launch you forward a little bit faster. You'll see dive boosts happen at pretty much the entire forever. What they're doing in this first level is this game has different equipables. They're called hats. So this is the hat in time. You make them by collecting yarn, and they each cost a different amount of yarn. By getting 2 yarn, we can get the sprint hat, and the sprint hat is really good because it makes you go fast. And we like going fast because this is a speed run. So the main goal of this speed run is to collect 25 different timepieces, which will open up the last stage, the finale, and then complete that last stage, and that'll be time. So that's our first timepiece right there. We're going to do 25 different levels and get 25 different timepieces, and then the final 26th finale level. You'll notice that both runners, when they hit that panel on the wall to make the telescope pop up, they did the boop emote. That's because the boop emote in this game is extremely broken for some reason, and it just animation cancels everything. So if you do the boop emote when in an animation or when creating a telescope, it will actually make the telescope, or normally Hatkit will do this little dance afterwards, and you have to wait there and sit through it. But by booping, you can start moving earlier, and it just saves a little bit of time. This level is She Came From Outer Space. You have to get covered in the little dirt so that you can scare this mafia guy at the end. Both runners did a little trick there called an sprint double jump, or SDJ. That's one of the most common movement techs used in the game. It essentially takes advantage of a mechanic in the game that lets you jump. It takes advantage of a bug in the game. Well, that's unfortunate for Sonic. It takes advantage of a bug in the game, sprint hat code, that lets you do a standard double jump with the speed of the sprint hat. Because normally if you jump while using the sprint hat, you'll do a sprint jump, which is that forward flip that you just saw SWC do. And that is faster horizontal momentum, but is not as far because it's only essentially it's like a jump and a half in terms of horizontal and vertical distance. But by taking advantage of that bug, it's about a 1.5, 2 frame window, which is easier to hit than it sounds. You can get that faster horizontal momentum and faster and further distance from a double jump with the sprint hat speed.
I'm yeah, sorry about that. I'm choking really hard.
It's really easy to bonk on that wall right there. And in most cases, you just reset because it's early on. But this is a race, so you can't do that.
Yeah, I've just been playing really bad.
It's all right. There's a lot of places in this game where you can easily lose a lot of time from a small thing. A lot of quick kills where if you miss them, or not a lot, but it sets you really far behind. So even if you fall behind early, you can always catch up. We had a tournament for any percent earlier on this year, and there were a lot of races that really got they seemed like they were going to be somebody made a mistake early and it seemed like it was going to be all over, and then somebody else missed some sort of big time save and it swung back. So this game, in terms of racing for this game, there's a lot of swinginess that can happen. This level, barrel battle is essentially an auto-scroller. You're supposed to be dodging these barrels as they hop around, or they bounce around. SWC lagged there on accident. So that'll mess up that, I think. You're supposed to dodge these barrels as they hop around, and then you fight the Mafia boss at the end. If you stand in this specific position, they can't hit you for whatever reason. So you just dance and you wait. And it essentially is like a minute where you don't do anything. I think, yeah, so SWC is about to be done with this part. Because when he stops throwing the barrels when you know. If you hit him with the Brewer Potion, which is that range projectile, he'll drop down a little bit faster. So you saw SWC do that there. A fun little quirk about attacking in this game is that if you actually just mash the button as fast as you can, it's slower. You want to time out your button presses 8 frames apart for the optimal attack speed. I don't know why it works like that, but it does. So SWC backs the hub there. That's just so we don't have to watch this cutscene at the end. This next level is Down with the Mafia, which is another early run killer level. You're going to see, well, in theory, SWC would have booped there because it lets you land a little bit faster. But instead, SWC hide. That hitting the boop, because it's on a diagonal, is actually harder than it looks like. So it's very easy to accidentally use the wrong emote. As you can see, SWC is having a lot of fun right now with that. So this is going to be the first level where we take advantage of lag. A little while ago, maybe about, I don't know, I think it's about a year and a half ago, it was discovered that if you lag the game, you can do stuff that you shouldn't be able to do. So in that case, that you're supposed to grab a bucket and place that on top of that button, which will open the gate and you can grab the key. But by lagging, we could, right as you dive boost, it stays open for just long enough that you can slide underneath it. And we use an external program called HatLag to do this. That was developed by community member Does This Username. Because there are ways to lag the game within the game. Like if you change the language of the game. Quickly, this is a trick called Fight Skip. There's a lower level fight you're supposed to do, but by jumping on that geometry, you can skip it. It's nice because that fight is boring. No, it's not that long, I guess. We use this program called HatLag. That is an external application. It was voted on by the community to allow it because it just makes running the game a lot more fun. Lagging using by going into the menu and switching the language, it sucks. So with this, and also it was very computer dependent. So this normalized it by it just made it less of a pain to play. So we're big fans of HatLag, and we use lag a lot in this game. Including this trick coming up right here. This is the Mafia boss fight. This is the first quick kill that you're going to see in the game. This fight has a lot of RNG because he will do this attack where he drops these bags, and he can do that anywhere from 2 to 4 times. And the more times he does it, the slower it is because you can't attack him during that. So for this, we jump on his head, attack a couple times to get in the right position so that we can lag off stage. Then you're going to Brewer up, boop clip back into the stage. It's usually a bit low. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, that's not going to work. So that's what I'm saying about how things can really get back, swing back. Ideally, you want to boop clip back into the stage. The Mafia boss will notice that you're really close to him, and it will try to launch you forward to get you out of his way. If you're holding a Brewer and lag right as you're inside of his hitbox, you will actually mess up his collision, and he will fall to the stage and land on a or fall through a death volume, and it'll end the fight instantly. And it saves about 30 to 45 seconds. Both of them actually missing fight skip.
I've never gotten in Mario or a race rather. It's sad because I have a 99% consistency with a trick like that in a regular run, but it's just marathon nerves for me at least.
Yeah, I mean that happens. Like we saw a lot of fight skip misses in the any percent tournament. Yeah. It's an easy trick to miss. It's not like the hardest trick to do, but it's a very easy trick to oh, I'm off by a fraction of a second. Oh, I walked too far to the right, so Hat Kid popped out of the stage a tiny bit. Oh, I hit Peck. So you see another boop scope here. You can notice that the SWC starts running a little bit earlier. Spawn is getting pretty bad RNG there too, which doesn't help. A nice thing about Fight Skip is that it lowers the amount of RNG that occurs in the fight because you're skipping the whole last phase. This is Dead Run Studio. This is just a pure movement level, essentially. We take advantage of a lot of things to skip parts of this level here. This game, you can do a lot of stuff with momentum. So in this case, we do a nice long jump there because of the momentum from the cart. That was a double sprint jump that a DSJ, not to be confused with an SDJ, that SWC just did, which takes place where it takes advantage of the game's Coyote frame implementation, which is the mechanism that lets you jump after running off a ledge. It's sort of an assist. And that lets us do 2 double jumps when we normally would only be able to do 1, which gives us more height. The interesting thing about DSJs is that DSJs are really dependent on the specific platform that you're running off of, because you need to execute them within a certain number of frames of running off the platform. So every DSJ is slightly different depending on what platform. They also you're gonna watch see Sponus take advantage of a checkpoint abuse here by getting into that checkpoint volume and jumping over there. It'll warp us to a future part of the level, so we can skip a big part of it. What is SWC gonna draw? Velocity. Nice. Sponus missing the fence jump there. You have to land pretty precisely on the fence. And you can save some time, but there's a backup by going up behind there. Last time I did a race, I missed that, and I did not know about the backup, and I just got stuck. It was not good. Then I stopped racing.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Really.
It's a race. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, at least SWC is getting to show off how the game's supposed to be played.
So this is murder. There are 2 routes in this game. Main routes in this game. There's murder on the Owl Express, and there is the toilet route. The murder route is the more advanced route, I would say, because it takes advantage of a lot of lag mechanics. In this case, we're going to clip off that. We're going to a lag clip off of that trash can, which is essentially by lagging right as you would be about to ledge grab. You will instead clip through the geometry, and then we're going to clip back into the stage on there and hit this button. Normally, you do this whole murder mystery level. This level is actually really cool when you do it casually. It's one of my favorite levels, but we just skipped the whole level here. So, you're supposed to get all this evidence. At the end, you pick who the murderer was. In this case, we're just going to grab this key over here, and then we're going to do a lag SDJ, which again is that double jump with sprint hat momentum to get across this giant gap. By lagging, you get a little bit more distance than you otherwise would, which lets us get across. You run into this room, you run out, and the game's like, oh, you got all the last piece of evidence. You're done with the level. And warps us back to the start. And that makes the stage very quick when it would otherwise be an extremely long stage. Then you pick the conductor as the murderer, and he's like, oh my god, it was me? But in an accent I can't do. Also, this cutscene's really weird with the virtual kid skin because it just clips into her face. So the other route, so this route does this level, Murder on the Owl Express, and it does the Murder on the Owl Express time rift, which if you've played Super Mario Sunshine, it's like those extra stages where they take away Flood. This game has an equivalent of that, but you still get to use your abilities because it's not a bad game. And the toilet route does the toilet boss in Subcon Forest and the village time rift. And those, if you done optimally with best RNG, the murder route saves about 7 seconds. But again, it's easy to lose time on the murder route because that clip is very finicky. But it's also easy to lose time on the toilet route because you're relying on toilet RNG, which is a fun thing to say. And this is the only game where we talk about if you're a fan of murders or if you're a fan of toilets. So this is picture perfect. This level's, you're supposed to get all these fans. SMC just did a trick called Sewer Potion, named after the runner Sewer, to get what we call, I guess, early or quick max diva. you're supposed to meet all these fans, and that'll raise your like fandom base, and then eventually hit a state called Max Diva. And it's supposed to do this counting up animation. But if you get enough points quickly enough, it'll actually skip the counting up and just go directly to Max Diva, and that saves about 7 seconds. And so by hitting that potion and then jumping up and either hitting the potion on the dog or jumping up and hitting the dog fast enough, you will get Max Diva without having to wait. If you miss the potion and you're able to jump up fast enough, you only lose about 2 seconds, but it is a tight window there. So this is now, SWC is now moving on to the Murder Rift. This is the time rift that I mentioned before. This is like this level. I hate this level. This level kills so many of my runs. This is the first time we're going to see a trick called an ice hat slingshot, and it is another level where we take advantage of lag. So that was a lag STJ to get over to here. You can actually do that with the normal STJ. It's just a tighter window and it's harder to execute. So STC is going to jump over here and switch to the ice hat. And these platforms, when they rotate over to the top side, if you start to slide down, and then lag, and then release the lag, you will get this momentum boost, and that's called an ice hat slingshot. And so normally you have to hit the 4 buttons, and then wait for this platform to go across, then run across the platform. By doing the ice hat slingshot, we can skip that whole section. It makes this level a lot faster. And then instead of hitting these 2 buttons, you climb up on top of this and just do a regular double jump up to the top, and that's the Murder Rift. We skip all the checkpoints in this level, so if you miss the ice hat slingshot, you will just kind of go careening into the void, and then you have to do the whole level over again, which is how you can lose a lot of time in this rift. So that's the last level of DBS, Deadbird Studio proper. SWC is now moving on to a level called Gallery, which is another time rift level, but this one's, we consider it part of the DBS segment because it's right next to it, but it's technically part of the hub, I guess. This is another like pure movement level. This level is actually really fun. SWC is going to do attempt to do it. Oh, that worked. That did not seem like it was going to work. And then get onto this platform, jump over to here. Normally supposed to break those brewer boxes of the brewer potion, but you can just jump past them. Do a DSJ up to that platform. Dive. Oh, missed the. Oh no. And then DSJ up to the top. Flawless. This is why I can't like commentate how things are supposed to go ahead of time. Because that's how I get into like, yeah, then you're gonna miss the wall run. That's what I meant to say. SCC is gonna hit Roomby here. Roomby gives us a yarn, and we need that yarn. It's a very fast yarn. Oh no. Svanus missed the jump up to the last platform, which fortunately he had the checkpoint there, which makes it not as punishing. You could actually skip that checkpoint, but then you have to go all the way back to the first part of the brewer, where those brewer boxes are. SWC is now moving into Subcon Forest, which is another world. We're going to start off a trick called Bag Skip. Normally you have to wait for, there's this really long bag animation where Snatcher, who gives you these contracts, will like trap you in this bag, and then you have to wait like 25 seconds, and then he does this whole long animation. But by booping out of the bag, we can run over to here and actually skip that cutscene by triggering a different cutscene. As long as you are in this cutscene when the first cutscene would end up playing, it will not be able to play the first cutscene because the second cutscene's already playing, and skip that cutscene entirely. And not only does this save time on this level because we're able to run all the way over here and not have to worry about and like not have to watch that cutscene, but by getting that cutscene, it unlocks a bunch of contracts. And it's do things like reach the village. And by getting those contracts, you have to watch this contract animation, and that loses additional time. So it actually saves a lot. Getting bag skip saves a lot of time. But so SWC is going to burn a bunch of paintings here. You notice that SWC is jumping into the fire intentionally. That's because they're setting up a trick called Cherry Death. The next level for this world, actually, you can reach from the starting point of this level. And going back to hub is pretty slow because you have to wait for there are a bunch of animations that play when you go into the telescope. As for example, the finale book will start to fill up, and that takes, I think it's like 5 seconds or something, plus all the zooms and stuff. But by dying here and dying as we hit the timepiece, it will collect the timepiece and then warp us back to the start of the level. So that saves us having to exit the level and re-enter the level and watch all those animations. But it saves about 4 seconds, I think, because taking damage takes time. But it is risky because if you do miss it, you do the entire level again. That's like a minute 30.
Let me see if I can show off how to miss it.
Do not show off Cherry Death Svanus, I beg you.
What do you mean? I'm a CO skip expert.
Or Cherry Die, not Cherry Death.
Well, I missed it, but that's better than dying.
Yeah, so Svanus missed the death part by... I think if you collect the timepiece before you take the damage, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
SWC is going to do a trick called Well Dive. I don't know why this works, but essentially if you dashed into that tree gap there, it will just yeet you upward, and you can just jump into the well. Normally do like this whole platforming thing, but why do that when you can just yeet? Wells, I love Well. It's a really fun level. It has a weird quirk where as you run into this room, your controls are flipped and nobody knows why. SWC now has the hookshot badge, which we use a lot for the rest of the run. It allows us to swing on top of things. There's a trick to get out of this room faster that involves doing 1-frame jumps and then warping out of the room, but neither of these runners go for it because it sucks.
Yeah, it's a really hard trick.
And then the rest of Well is pretty much just standard movement. You're supposed to like use all these platforms, but we're not even doing anything that is like a speedrun trick here. We're just using hook shots to skip parts.
But yeah, it's gonna be doing normal Well here.
So you can see how Svanus ran back a little bit there. That's because of the reversed controls.
There's not really much to commentate about Gurren currently, because
Yeah, I mean, Well is like... Well, there's nothing super speedrunning about Well. It's a fun level to do, but it's pretty standard stuff. SWC will now be moving into Queen Victoria's, right? Manor. Why do I not remember her name? Am I right? Vanessa. Why did I say Victoria? What's wrong with me? Queen Vanessa's Manor. I just say QVM so long that I don't remember the name. This is the hardest trick in the game. First of all, this first part's fun. You just slide down, do this super long momentum dive boost. But SWC is setting up a trick here called Cherry, or Manor Hover, or Cherry Hover, where you stack these 2 cherries on top of each other, and then you grab the bottom cherry at the right time, and it will yeet you upward. And the reason that this trick sucks is that there are a ton of super high invisible walls that extend all the way up, like crazy high. And not all the way up, but they extend really high. And so if you hit any of those walls, you stop going forward, and you have to do the level pseudo-normally. SWC got it there, but accidentally bonked to the invisible little platform there. So there's fortunately a crack in this this like snow globe thing surrounding the manor that you could fall into. We don't know why it's there, but it's really nice because it lets us actually do Cherry Hover. And then normally for this really long stage, you have to it's like a horror level, but there's actually like a skip that's built into the game where you can go into this door and skip the entire level. And then by jumping up on the right door at the end there, you can jump over this cutscene trigger and skip the cutscene that would normally play.
So this is the area you get to if you miss Manor Hover.
Yeah. Which is pretty, you're supposed to break these ice walls and stuff, but we're speedrunners, we just jump over stuff.
Yep.
Manor Hover saves about 40 seconds over doing this level pseudo-normally.
Yep.
But it's really hard. It is the hardest trick in the game. SWC is now moving into another level another rift called Pipe. This is another level that is pretty much just pure movement. You're going to see a couple DSJs. That's the only speedrunning specific thing here in order to hit a faster cycle. The tutorial video for beginners for this level is actually really funny because it just shows how to do the level optimally. And it's if you're a beginner, you're just going to do this, but slower, and you'll have to wait. if you don't hit the cycle. So yeah, like you don't have to wait. If theoretically, like the way that Gears intended for this level to be done, you would have to wait for that little platform to raise again. But if you're fast enough, you don't have to, and it makes the level a little bit faster. It's not the end of the world if you don't hit the first cycle, but it loses like 5 seconds or something. Pipe is another fun level. The rifts in this game are generally pretty fun. The blue rifts. Some of them are really boring, but for the most part, they're enjoyable. And then SWC is going to move on to everyone's favorite mechanic in a controller shooter or controller platformer, which is a third-person shooter level. This is Mail Delivery Service, which the cutest Snatcher, Postman Snatcher. Snatcher lends you this scooter, and you scoot around and you shoot these packages at people. And you have to hit a certain number to beat the level. By stepping on the specific spot, right there, you actually can hit two of the little people with one toss, which saves some time. And at the end here, SWC is going to try to jump off into the timepiece, because if they're able to hit the timepiece, there we go, as the contract shows up, they can skip some of the animation by hitting back the hub because that contract window is open, and that saves a little bit of time. So that's the end of Subcon Forest for SWC, and SWC is now going to move on to Mafia 2, the second part of doing the Mafia Mafia Town stage. So this first level, Golden Vault, has a bunch of different strategies that involve lag. The first thing that this is gonna be the first time where I think this is the first time where we see them take advantage of lag warping, which this game has a mechanic called I guess like getting stuck. I don't know. Certain pieces of geometry are marked as safe, and the game will update your last safe position if you're on it for 2 or more frames. And if the game notices that you are in the same position and not able to move, it will warp you back to its last saved safe position because it thinks you are stuck. And so by intentionally not updating our safe position and then mashing the lag button while jumping specifically, you will warp back to your safe position, and that lets us do a bunch of warps or skips. So in that case, SWC did the nice hat slingshot to get over to that platform at the end there, and then did a stuck warp to get back to this roof over here, and they did another ice hat slingshot to get over to the second ticket. There is a faster version of this level where you actually essentially avoid setting your safe position for the entire stage, and then stuck warp back directly to the Golden Vault. That is very hard because it requires some lag dive boosts, which are not too bad on keyboard and frame perfect on controller. This next level is Sewers. It is another level where you either do it normally, or you do it with the fast cycle, or you do it the same way essentially, but kind of slower. There is a fast version of this by getting up to here in a single cycle. And if you don't hit it, you have to wait for the blocks to switch once, which loses about 5 seconds or so. SWC is going to wait here because if you miss, there is no checkpoint there. So if you miss that jump, you do the whole stage over again. And that jump is tricky. But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward rift. This next level is heating up Mafia Town. So I said that the hardest trick in the game was Manor Hover, and that is true, but heating up Mafia Town is the hardest level in the game.
No,
I think most people would agree with that.
It's definitely an incredibly hard level.
So
I recently learned new strats for it. I'll be doing the same strats as SWC for it, so we'll see.
Oh, you do task rate now? Nice.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
This makes it easier for me to commentate. For this level, the goal is to hit these 4 different switches, which will shut off the heat, and then you can go to the end of the level. You saw that SWC did a lag warp or a stuck warp there. They're gonna do it again here. Stuck warp onto this that statue because that's a safe spot, and then do a lag shot over here. This is called the task route, not because it's like a task only thing, but because it was discovered while tasking. So this is another ISAT slingshot. That was a really good slingshot too. So now they're able to teleport back here, and they're going to try to land on this balloon. Oh, and they launch through it, because that's how this stage goes. Normally, you would launch in that balloon. That would give you enough momentum to hit a hook shot at the end. And yeah, pick up the photo badge. And then you would just stuck warp back and be pretty much at the end of the level. Instead, SWC now has to stuck warp back to like over here and then figure out how to get back, which is super obnoxious. You could die to get to the start of the level, but then you have to watch this cutscene again, which is really annoying. In this case, it might have honestly been faster to die. I don't know.
I've never personally tested that, but that's what I do when that happens. I just die and watch the cutscene twice.
I think it might be faster to die in this case. The more beginner strat intentionally does die, but you don't do it on the last faucet, because then by dying on an earlier faucet, you get back to the start, which is slower than doing this, but like faster than doing it normally. And then you are able to you stuck warp for the last faucet, and you only have to watch the cutscene once. So that's heating up. You can see why this level is really hard. It's a lot of really precise slingshots. That if you mess up, you have to make the slow walk of shame back to the start of the level. SWC is now going to do Barrel Battle Part 2, everyone's favorite auto-scroller, but this time they're actually just going to do a rift. We just enter it through Barrel Battle. We unfortunately do not get to do the best level Barrel Battle twice. This is the most boring rift. It's very straightforward. You noticed SWC menued there in order to re-equip the hook shot, I think, is what was going on there. Because when you do the mail delivery service, you get a temporary scooter badge, and that will actually unequip your hook shot. So at some point in the run, you need to re-equip it.
I might have actually saved a little bit of time over SWC on heating up Mafia Town.
You absolutely did.
Because I kind of got it. I didn't hit the correct balloon and got a little height, and then the second lag shot wasn't that great. But
so that's what I was saying earlier. Is there's enough places to lose time in this run that no race is actually truly over until it's over. So SWC is now moving on to cheating the race. This is another pure movement level. This is probably the hardest level for beginners, because the way that the game intends you to do this level is there is a very expensive hat called the Time Stop Hat. It costs 32 yarn and allows you to stop time for a certain period of time. And you're supposed to use the Time Stop Hat to make your way to the end, to this end faster than the Mafia guy would. But it turns out you could actually just do the level really well, and then that is faster, or that does not require the time stop hat. That actually makes this level really quick. The thing is, though, that if you fail CTR, you do the entire level again, which loses about 30 to 30-ish seconds an attempt. I think it's 35. Experienced runners rarely miss CTR, but for beginners, it is a extremely punishing level, because you need to be, you're not doing anything too speedrun specific. Svanos went for the spicy timepiece there and unfortunately missed it. But until you get the hang of it, is you make one mistake and you just lose 35 seconds.
Yeah, probably the worst Bazaar I've ever had. But it's
This is Lab. Lab is another level where we do some weird speedrun stuff. This is a trick called a turnip, which is essentially you turn at the right time and it gets you stuck in the wall. And when you're stuck in the wall, the game tries to yeet you upwards to get you to the top of the geometry so you get unstuck. So by getting stuck in the wall, it just zips us upward, and we're able to skip the whole level, and it makes Lab really quick. Lab is not a particularly long level, even if you do it normally, but that makes it a very, very fast level. So SGC is now going to move on to Nyakuza Metro, which is the second DLC world. And we like Nyakuza a lot because Nyakuza is a free roam area. So you're meant to like explore it and find the timepieces sort of organically instead of being like a stage by stage thing like a lot of the other worlds. And this lets us get 5 timepieces extremely quickly. This is a very fast world. But we can't do it early because we need 20 timepieces to unlock it. So this is where we're going to get our final 5 timepieces so that we can open up the finale. This first trick is called Boop Metro. SWC is going to try to boop onto that little ledge or hit high, so I'm not going to explain it. Again, hitting boop, harder trick than it looks like. And doing the slow, the normal way, I think loses about 20 seconds. SWC fortunately got a good cycle there. The longer that you can run along this train, the better. Otherwise, you just have to wait for the train to move, and you can run faster, obviously, than the train can go on its own. But yeah, you kill this cat because it stole your timepiece. I still think it's a little messed up.
Wait, am I missing a level?
I don't think so. Are you?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not. Okay.
You have 20
Yeah, no.
timepieces?
Yeah, okay.
Then you're good.
Yeah,
SCPC's
sorry.
not gonna go for a trick called Dumpster Dive, which is you jump onto this dumpster and you lag at the right time and you clip through it, and then you dive. First you dumpster, then you dive. It allows us to clip out of bounds. We're gonna go up here, do a momentum dive off of this, and then clip back into the right spot of this box over here, which is right where the timepiece is. Extremely quick timepiece. First you dumpster, then you dive. That's why we call it Dumpster Dive. I like Dumpster Dive, which is first you dumpster, then you forget to dive and die. That's a Corva May classic. So you notice that the first time SWC did not exit the hub, because after every timepiece, it'll throw you back in the middle of the level. In this case, SWC did exit the hub, because we want to use that the start point for that timepiece you just got to get the next 2 timepieces. In this case, we're going to run up on top of these 2 trains, jump on top of this train over here, and then you can see that timepiece glowing over there. We're able to use this ledge to get just high enough to jump onto this train and grab the timepiece. That is the fastest timepiece in the game. As far as I know, Lab might be faster. It's up there. It's very fast.
As a point of reference for how much time I've lost this run, I'm pretty much exiting Nyakuza at this point in my PB. Pretty much.
That's race nerves for you.
Yeah, I've been shaking the entire time, but hey,
So
it is what it is.
SWC's going back into Yellow Manhole again to do a clip on this hedge. You jump into this hedge, you clip through the stage, you turn around, and then that giant box you went into before, you're gonna clip through it again. You can see the glowing timepiece over there. That's the timepiece we want. So we just dive across this stage and clip back in. There is a different timepiece you can grab if you are not as comfortable with like lag clips. That is slower, but not too bad. It's still fast in the grand scheme of timepieces in this game. We would grab both of them if we could unlock Nyakuza earlier, but fortunately it requires 20 timepieces. And then this is the last stage of Nyakuza Metro that we're going to do, Green Clean Station. SWC is going to use this cat to hop up to this sign. Oh no. I hate this cat bounce. I'm so bad at it. Hop up to this sign, and is going to do a lag STJ to get onto that little marquee thing. Oh. That STJ is tight. If you miss it, this level becomes quite slow.
Did I miss it?
It's going to do a lag STJ. Oh no. There are alternative strats for this. Like, you can just run off the top of there and it'll do a checkpoint abuse. That's what I like to do because I am a weenie. But
Just do it far enough down and you can get like the backup ledge grab if you need to.
true. So that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to lag STJ over there. You skip the whole stage. So now SWC is going to move on to the finale. First off, you have to do this mustache girl segment where you just kind of like T-pose across the ground, jump up to here, and open up the vault. Mustache girl can't actually climb ladders. You're intended to like go around the ramp on the left side, but you can get just enough height off of the computer. And now they will make their way up to the attic to do the final level of the game that we do in any percent, the finale.
Yep. I'll be making my way there soon enough too. We're like kind of lining up somewhere.
Yeah. There are two ways to get into the finale. You're headed to do this little non-puzzle where you hit 3 buttons. You can also do a triple sprint jump, which is a kind of like the DSJ trick I mentioned earlier, but the second jump you just do a regular double jump instead of a sprint jump. Off of a clock in the corner to skip it entirely, which saves some time, but it is a tricky trick. So the finale is broken into 2 parts. There is the gauntlet, which is this long platforming section at the beginning, and then there's the fight with Mustache Girl, who's the final boss of the game. And finale is an interesting level in that everyone has time to save in finale. It is a hard level that is quite long, and there's a lot of optimization you can do to it. And then the Mustache Girl fight has a lot of RNG in it. It's unfortunate the last fight in this game is extremely random. It's probably the most random part of the game. So SWC is doing a checkpoint abuse there to get to the top of here, and is then going to do a lag shot off of this crystal to skip that whole section on the right. SWC is doing a camera manip there to get better cycles. So most of this is actually pretty just straightforward movement other than that lag shot. You'll see a couple of DSJs. Spinals will probably do some lag dive boosts, which is you dive boost as you lag, and then you get a better dive boost from doing it. It's very free on keyboard, and it sucks on controller.
Not having the greatest finale entry here, but whatever. But yeah,
It's important to get through that wall in one use of the Dweller, because there are these cats that will sit there and steal your hats, as one Creeper Plays has learned. As they knock you back. It's really obnoxious.
Yeah, cats are the worst enemy in this game.
Yeah, cats are real bad. I'm a cat fan in real life, but I'm not a cat fan in Hat in Time. Yeah, by doing a momentum dive boost, you can skip the hook shot, which takes away our momentum. You also notice that SWC is on low health, and this is the setup for a trick called Slapsy and Torpsy, which is a death abuse on the first part of the Mustache Girl fight to skip a segment of it. So the first part of Mustache Girl takes place in... That was not a bad... that was a decent gauntlet. The first part of Mustache Girl takes place in the throne room, and she takes 5 health. And if you manage to die right as you kill her, you will skip the part of the stage. SWC is getting bad RNG here. And we'll... Oh, nope, there we go. So by throwing a brewer at the right time when she does either the torpedo attack or the teleporting attack, you can die at the same time that you kill her, which will skip this part where you're in like this black void and just have to wait for 20 seconds as she does those timepieces at you. SWC is also doing a trick here where if you stand in the laser's hitbox while holding a brewer, for some reason it won't damage you. And if you hit her earlier than the game expects you to, it will skip this part. We have to run up to her 3 times. It saves a little bit of time. For this part, her attacks are always the same. So oh, nice camera bat switch. Let's go. So this is the worst part. This is the worst part of the game. This is the shield phase of Mustache Girl. The way that boss RNG works in this game is that they have a set for every phase of their AI. They have a set of attacks that they will use in a random order. And because of how this specific set of attacks works, it means that she can put up her shield anywhere from 1 to 4 times. And every time she puts up her shield, you have to wait for Snatcher the Goat to send you a cherry so you can break the shield. Ideally, you want 1 shield, because 1 shield is very fast. It happens about 2% of the time. Most of the time, you will get 3 shields, which is normal. Sometimes you will get 4 shields, which loses you time. You have to hit her 8 times in that time. This is not good RNG so far.
My
can
PB
sometimes
finish was
get-
just 30 seconds.
You can sometimes get 2 hits in one attack if you get lucky. You can also go for something called brewer doubles, which is you hit her at the same time that you hit her with a brewer. It's really dangerous on that stage because it can launch her out of the stage and then you soft lock the game. We call it a yeet. It sucks. You don't really see people going for it unless they really, really know what they're doing. So this is the last stage of Mustache Girl. You cannot die in this stage. It's all about hitting her the correct number of times as fast as possible. Oh, I think, wait, she has 6 health in the last stage. She has 8 health in this stage. So you're going to see SWC go for brewers here, where they launch a brewer while trying to do the homing attack. And stuff, like right there, they got 2 hits. And they did it again. That saves a bunch of time. Every time you get hit here, it's actually really slow because the taking damage animation is quite long in this stage. And then time is going to end when SWC hits the big old massive time pieces at the end here. And you notice the timer is actually quite far off from the in-game time, and that's because the in-game time uses a load remover. Oh. Oh, look at that photo. And that's time. Congrats to SWC. All in all, a decently close race, though, because time for Svanus is going to be coming up in about 30... Oh, never mind. You haven't done the last phase yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw the shockwaves and was like, that's the end of it.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I actually got, like, really good RNG on Mustache Girl. I just played terribly, but yeah, I had super
Hey, you
good
beat my
RNG there.
PB.
Yeah. And missing Mafia was quick kill, missing Cherry Death. Bonking in outer space. What a run.
She bonked in outer space.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's been a while since I finished a run like this, but hey, whatever.
All right, is SWC doing the best? Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Boo. Chip Shape's the best level in the game. Deep Sea's terrible. So yeah, Svanus is doing the last phase here. Again, like, it's a little random because the attack she uses, like the shockwave attack, is really obnoxious because she'll just jump all the way across the stage.
Yep. Actually, I had a good final phase.
Yeah, that was a good final phase. So this will be time for Svanus.
Oops. Nope. That is time.
There we go. And that's a hat in time any percent done twice simultaneously.
+3. Fuck.
Hat's a really, 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 really great speedrun. It's one of my favorite games I've ever run, and the community for Hat is just wonderful. If this gave you any interest in Hat speedrunning, I highly recommend checking out the Boop Troop. You can find the Discord link on speedrun.com. Shoutouts to everyone from the Boop Troop, many of whom are watching right now. You're all lovely. And I think I'm 100% positive both of our racers would agree with everything I just said.
Yep. Absolutely. Amazing community. If you're at all interested in checking out these games, I would highly recommend it. Yeah, it's an amazing group of people. Truly one of the best communities I've ever been a part of. And yeah, thanks to Velocity for letting me and SLC show it off at this race, even though it was yeah.
Yeah, heavily agree.
Absolutely.
Any final words?
Peck with an exclamation point.